There's no there. Nothing to see here, people. Just move along. You're not seeing what you're seeing. Don't you understand? That's basically the assessment of Attorney General William Barr. There is no election fraud. Case closed. Really? So let me see if I've got this straight in my mind and see if you got it straight in your mind. 10 o'clock election night, the president is literally winning by hundreds of thousands of votes in some places. And by 4 in the morning, he was losing. This was after the counting stopped in places like Atlanta, Philadelphia, Michigan. And then sometime in the middle of the night, like a Domino's pizza delivery, poof, ballots just appeared out of thin air. The bottom line is this. You and I, we know what we've seen. 79% of Republicans know that there was actual voter fraud. 30% of Democrats know that there was voter fraud. You're talking about Joe Biden, who people like me said over a year ago, he's done, baby. Stick a fork in him. There was no enthusiasm for Joe. Pete Buttigieg was kicking his tail on the campaign trail. It was Pete who beat him in Iowa. One might wonder what the voting machines were there. Remember, Pete had contact with the people that, well, you remember all that. So again, Bernie Sanders, you might want to look into this whole Dominion voting thing. This may be how they kept you, because you had all the momentum, kept you from being the candidate again. Then again, does Bernie really want to be president? Or does Bernie like to do what it is that, socialists, communal communists do, which is just spend other people's money and live lavishly while doing it? You got to travel, obviously first-class hotel accommodations. You know that the Bernie campaign didn't put Bernie up at Motel 6 when he would go around the country on the campaign trail. No, nay. And, hey, he always draws within striking distance, and whoever the top contender is going to be ends up paying him off. He works just like a communist commissar, Yeah, these are the laws, these are the rules, but hey, if you've got enough of a bribe, well, we can make that happen for you. And that's exactly how Bernie works. He's got, 4 houses? For a guy who detests capitalism, he lives pretty well. I'm not gonna, you just get to a point where, everybody's talking about it. And you got some of the Trump commentators around here, oh, this is working out for us and this is falling into place. And then you got other people saying, it's all falling apart. Here's the bottom line. We see that Georgia is a train wreck. The secretary of that state, he's a train wreck, and now he's complaining about the train wreck of Atlanta. Actually complaining to the media, why do we always have to wait on Fulton County? Yeah, duh, why? What are you doing about it? I love how these guys act like that this is all happening and they're powerless to do anything about it. The fiasco happening in Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin. And yes, the president's legal team, they are filing lawsuits. I think they have a strong case. You've got even Rand Paul talking about, look, this miracle math that helped Joe Biden get elected, it just doesn't exist. Ballots that came in by the hundreds of thousands that only have Joe's name checked. Nobody down ballot. And we're supposed to believe that the GOP came this close to overtaking Congress? And yet, the vast majority of the GOP people did not vote for Donald Trump because they're so angry at him. Bullhawk. It's pure bullhawk. And don't tell me that John Kasich and other rhinos like him voted for Joe Biden and then voted a Republican ticket. Bullhawk. The president has a case. But the question is, will the courts let him make it? And that's what I've been saying. If the courts would take up the cases, but what they're doing is they're dismissing without even looking at anything. Because the bottom line is no judge wants to get in the middle of all this. Now, some are, when they know flat out that they're going to be appealed and they don't care. You know, it's kind of like they've punted. But will this actually get to the Supreme Court? Will the Supreme Court justices want to make that decision? Will they feel like they are putting the nation in chaos and creating riots and civil unrest? Because after all, the media has crowned feeble old Joe who broke his foot. Because, you know, that's what old people do. They fall, they break things. Next is a hip, probably on the stairs of the White House. And trust me, Kamala, Nada Hottie Harris, she's ready. She's ready. I mean, look what Biden did, this all-female press corps that he's going to have. And the media's just like blown away by this. President Trump had an all-female press corps. And you found those women to be nasty. And you attacked those women viscerally. You don't let up. Now, why is Biden able to pull it off? And why won't his female team be attacked? Well, let's see. Every one of them is a militant, radical feminist. And at least one is married to her wife and living in Washington, D.C. Oh, the LGBTQ community. Can't tick them off. You can't spar with this one on camera or you'll be called a homophobe. So what Biden has done is he's weaponized his press department and he's going to be less transparent than Barack Obama, who did everything in secret. And the media will never complain about it. They complain about Donald Trump, who constantly talked to them, maybe talked to them more than he should have. It's the coronation has happened. The deep state, I told you this the other day, this isn't just about Democrats. This isn't just about rhinos and never-Trumpers. The deep state. They don't care about Democrat, Republican. They don't care about ideology. They would have gotten out of the way and let Trump have his landslide that he actually won. Because there's no way 80 million people voted for Joe Biden. Didn't happen. Not even close. There's no way Joe Biden had a bigger turnout than Barack Obama. No way. The deep state would have allowed Donald Trump to stay if he'd started a war, went along a little bit with that whole globalist agenda. Sure, they wouldn't have hindered it. They wouldn't have stopped it. He would have easily had his re-election. They would even let him call the dogs off over the whole Corona crisis. Nope. Because he's not part of the narrative, because he will not push that deep state agenda. And again, it's not about Republican, Democrat. We know what Biden's going to do, or we should say Harris, or we should say the cabinet. We know what a Mitt Romney would do. We would know what a George Bush would do. We know what whatever individual the Republicans roll out in 2024 will do. And I'm not trying to rain on your parade, and I'm not trying to say that it's over, because, again, I do fully believe that there are times that God just absolutely loves to do things in such a way that smart people, their heads just explode. But the reality is this. You've got the president is fighting not just the Democrats and the press and the never-Trumpers. He is fighting a deep state, a lot of which he doesn't even see and doesn't even know who they are. You've got rhino Republicans out there, rhino governors. It's unconscionable. We're watching absolute fraud in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan. We see it. And William Barr sits there and says, no, it's just not happening. Yeah, it is, Bill. Now, I don't know if you have any nefarious intent here. I do think that President Trump has nailed you, and most of you swamp dwellers, you guys are just there. You roll over from one presidential administration to the next. You just keeps going along. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. And now it's the same old song. And the band played on. And the only way this thing truly gets overturned, will the courts look at it, pick it up, and run with it. That is what has to happen. And Mr. President, if that doesn't happen, go ahead. Make some decisions before you leave that White House that definitely leaves your mark of distinction. You already know how I feel about pardoning Julian Assange and Edward Snowden. There's a few other people you could pardon too. And there's a few other things that you could do too. And Mr. President, whatever you do, we, the people who voted for you, we're for you, we're with you, and you will always be our president. Just a short little rant tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and a like. Follow us now on Parler. Yes, we're there. We're part of Parler. That's at Pastor Marty on Parler, because, you know, YouTube likes to take down my videos now. Isn't that nice of them? Isn't that special? All right. Make sure you smack the bell and click the word all to get notification of my next rant.